Hi guys, welcome to Cake World TV, and today we're filming with Sabrina Ricks all the way from Occasionally Cake. We're gonna make a gorgeous cake, so let's see what she got.
Hi, Chef Ali.
Hey,
It's so good to see you.
How you doing? How's it going?
Good.
Fantastic.
Good.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So, what kind of cake are we making today? And you know, I love the colors already.
Today we're going to make a two-tier cake that has lots of color and lots of texture.
Great.
So we're going to have texture with the flowers. We're going to have texture with some buttercream.
Nice.
We're going to do some fondant work.
Nice.
So it's going to be really fun for the eyes.
Awesome.
Lots of color. I love working with color.
Really good to see. So basically we're talking about a combination of fondant and buttercream.
Yes.
Something that we don't usually see like every other day, but we're going to make it today.
Oh yes, we're going to make it today.
It's going to be amazing.
Amazing.
Let's do this.
Okay.
All right. Great. So we're here with a cake.
This is the star of the show, right? This is what you're going to eat.
That's what I'm going to eat.
So we want to make sure that it's as pretty on the inside as it is on the outside.
Great.
So in our bakery, we do 4 layers of filling, and right now I'm going to torte the cake, which means that I'm going to cut it in half.
All right.
So I'm going to try to make this as level as possible,
Okay.
and I have it on a turntable so that I can kind of turn it and cut it. And we want to make sure when you're using a serrated knife, you want to make sure that you are sawing. You don't want to push the knife through.
All right.
You want to saw.
Okay.
Because if you push the knife, you tear the cake. But when you're sawing, you're actually cutting the cake.
Cutting the cake. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Because I noticed that when you push the knife, it's like, you know, you're going to get...
Yeah, it tears.
It tears the cake. You're going to mash it, like, you know, in the middle. So, you know...
So you want to take your cake and you want to open it up.
Look at that.
Not too bad.
Really
Not
nice.
too bad for a beginner. I'm just
Perfect.
kidding.
Oh my god, we're amazing. It's perfect. Look at that.
Thank you.
Wait, so what flavor is the cake?
So we have an amaretto cake
All right.
with an amaretto buttercream, and then we put a little dulce de leche in there.
Oh, nice.
Which I love because my family is from Uruguay.
Oh, yes.
So we eat a lot of that. So I like to put a little bit of my culture in there.
That's really good.
Now, when I make a cake, I don't simple syrup my cakes.
All right.
My recipe is moist enough, and we bake the flavor right into the cake.
Look at that.
So we don't need to add any more simple syrup. And look at that, I'm making a mess already. It's okay, we'll clean that right up. So when we're filling our cakes, we also want to make sure that we're, you know, going all the way to the edge, because I'm going to do a crumb coat on the cake. So a lot of times I'll take mine right to the edge, because then I'm going to take my spatula and I'm going to ice that right around to seal the edges. So we're going to go ahead and put this one on top.
All right.
So in our shop, we do 4 layers of cake and 3 layers of filling.
Okay.
So they're usually about 1 inch high. So you get about 4.5 inches by the time you're done filling high. And so you have a balance of flavor. So every time you take a bite, you have even cake and icing.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of filling here because we're going to sandwich these two together.
Okay.
So we get our height. So let's make sure that they're going to stay together while we fill them. So I love to use a turntable for all of these steps because it just makes it easier. It becomes...
So we have a sandwiched cake already. So
Yep.
we just
So we're going to just pop it on top.
Yep.
Like this.
Great. And then we're going to...
And we're going to make sure that it's
level
and center.
So,
and then we're going to put a thin layer of our buttercream on the outside to catch any crumbs.
Great.
Now we use in our bakery, like, so different bakeries use different kinds of icing.
Okay.
We like American style buttercream, which a lot of other snootier bakers don't like, but we like it, and a lot of our customers like it.
So what is American style?
So it's not a cooked buttercream, like a one of the meringues. So we don't heat it or cook it. It's essentially going to be butter, but it's going to have another fat in it usually. So we like to put heavy cream in our buttercream because the more fat, the more delicious.
Fantastic.
So we do that, and then powdered sugar, and we make it nice and fluffy. And our buttercream also crusts.
All right.
So when we do our crumb coat, it will crust on the outside, catching all of the crumbs, so that we don't have any problems when we're going to do, the fondant, the fondant, or we do ice a lot of our cakes in buttercream as well. So we'll do a crumb coat even when we're icing a buttercream cake because we don't want crumbs in the final buttercream coat.
Nice.
So what we usually do is we'll do, you know, a very thin layer, kind of like what you're seeing here, and then we let it crust for about 10 minutes, and it only takes about 10 minutes.
And it crusts like from outside, just room temperature?
Yep, it crusts just at room temperature. And then once it does that, we can go, you know, with either, well, At that point, if we're doing fondant, we'll put another thin layer of buttercream on it and put it and chill it in the refrigerator because we want to firm up that butter so that when we go to cover it with the fondant, it doesn't sag.
Okay.
But then we also, but if we're doing just, you know, just another coat of buttercream, like a thicker, you know, about 1/4 inch layer of buttercream, then we'll do that at room temperature. And when it's summertime and we're going to deliver it, then we're going to make sure that we chill that as well.
Time to pipe?
It's time to do some piping. So we're going to do our buttercream element first.
Great. So I see you already started piping?
I did start piping.
Great. So what's the technique
I love this texture. This is just using a shell tip.
Okay.
And we are piping it in a kind of a zigzag direction to get it to look like braids or knitting or just this beautiful texture. And to give it a little more interest, instead of just using a flat color, I took some of my regular buttercream.
Okay.
And I took a little bit of gel color.
Can I taste that?
Yes.
I love buttercream.
Please taste it. This is my buttercream. It's my recipe.
Wow.
Put a little bit of color in, but I didn't mix it in all the way. That way you get some tones.
So you want that marble effect, like,
yeah, you want the marble effect, so that it's not just a flat. You can do the same technique with mixing it all the way in and using just a color, but I like to have it be
like, you know,
marble because it's more interesting.
Fantastic, great.
I'm gonna start piping.
Great. Nice.
So like this. So I apply a little bit of pressure to start, and then as I'm moving down, I lessen the pressure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Pretty
now
cool.
here, I'm going to start a little bit lower. So as you can see, I'm doing it in a diagonal pattern.
Nice.
So it looks like a braid.
So it's like a braid, like more of like, what do you call it? Like, you know, when you braid the hair? Yeah.
Yes,
braiding.
when you're braiding the hair.
Yeah.
Now these spaces I'm going to cover up when I do the top. So I'm going to finish my sides first. When I pipe textures like this, I do the side first, and then I go back for the top.
Great. So you want to do the braiding, you know? It's like, you know, you go this way, that way, this way, that way, this way.
Exactly. So you're diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. And when you're piping, you're going to start with a little more pressure, and then you're going to stop the pressure. So if you watch my hand, I'm squeezing, stopping, squeezing, stopping before I pick up the bag.
Nice.
I do a lot of buttercream piping. If you're a beginning piper, you're going to notice that the muscles in your arm here are going to be tight and tense. So, but after a while, you get a rhythm. And so like I have a lot of muscle through here. And when I hold my bag, let me show you this too, because this is really important. You're going to hold between your thumb and your first finger and wrap your hand around the bag, because here you're using the muscle that goes down your arm here to hold the bag, but this is loose. So now when you're squeezing, you have all this other muscle that goes down this way to squeeze with.
Oh, nice.
And it keeps the buttercream from popping out of the top of the bag, which we don't want, right? So that's what I teach my students.
Great. So this is basically the third step.
Right. So now that we've already piped our bottom tier, and the top tier, you can see I've covered it in fondant, and I marbled my fondant again for interest, and also because I'm kind of getting like a sky kind of look to it.
I love it.
I love it too. It's so beautiful.
Great.
And the great thing about marbling fondant is when you roll it out, you can turn it over, and whichever side you like the best, you cover with that. So I actually rolled it out and then turned it over because it had a much more beautiful marbling.
Cool.
So now I'm going to show you a trick of how you can do a beautiful pattern in an easier way. So this is edible. It's an edible sheet.
Edible sheet?
It's a frosting sheet.
So let's show them the print. How it looks. Yeah.
So this is our print.
Yep.
I love trees.
Oh, nice.
So they signify life to me.
Nice.
So I went ahead and printed. This is printed with edible ink. And so now we want to cut it out. So we're not just going to cut out a circle. We're going to actually cut around with an X-Acto knife that I only use for food.
All right.
We're going to cut around very carefully this shape.
Great. So it's like we're getting a motif of the flower.
Right.
Of the tree.
So you're going to get the tree, but you're not going to get all of the white around the tree. Because then we're going to pipe over this to create more texture.
Great.
So it takes a few minutes because you want to make sure that you're really following the line really well. So I hold my X-Acto knife like a pencil. I'm going to cut around the leaves. And you always want to make sure that you're protecting your surface. So I have a cardboard here so that I don't cut on the countertop. So we don't want to do that because I can't afford to put new countertop.
Oh my God, look at that. That's really nice. Beautiful.
See?
Great.
So now what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm going to take this little piece right here. So now we're going to decide, I'm going to decide where my front is. And I'm going to use this as my front because it's a little lighter. And I'm just going to attach.
Yeah, it's sticking by
It
itself.
is sticking by itself. Now, because the cake is already a little bit damp, I'm going to try very hard not to retouch it with any wet fingers.
Yep.
And I'm going to take this one little piece here that I didn't cut. And I'm going to add it to this side. No one will know.
No. It's just me.
Except everyone on Cake World.
And except everyone watching right now. Don't tell anyone.
See?
Nice.
So now we have our pattern that we can start piping on. So we're going to let this sit a little bit so that it starts to dry a little bit.
See that? Take a look at that.
Check that out.
Ooh,
See how beautiful that is? I love these kinds of patterns. They're something that I'm really, I love these swirly textured patterns. So again, same theme, right?
Great. Yep. That's the whole idea. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Love
Thank you.
Great.
Serves 20 people.
Okay.
Our serving size is going to be 1 by 2 by 4.
Okay.
So 4 inches high, 2 inches wide, 1 inch deep.
Okay.
And that's a good slice of cake. So even though the cake might look like it doesn't serve 20 people, oh, it does. And it might serve more than that.
That's quite big, yeah.
Depending on how you cut it.
Yep. And it's got lots of beautiful flavors inside. I can't wait. Don't you like it?
You're like, Sabrina, hurry up so I
I want to eat cake now, you know. I want to eat cake and pair it with my tea, you know.
I know. I'm excited. We're going to drink some peach, right?
Yes, we're going to have some peach and green tea. Oh, that's going to be amazing.
I'm so excited.
Yep. And that's going to go really well with the flavors, right?
I think so. Yeah. I like fruity flavors. If I make cake for myself, I'm very rarely going to make chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Because I only like a little bit of chocolate.
Okay.
I would much prefer amaretto or fruity kind of flavors. Much better than chocolate.
Fantastic.
So now we have all of this covered. And so we're ready to add structure, because if we're going to put another cake on top, then we need to make sure that it doesn't sink in.
Great. So you want to stuck some...
So every cake artist uses different things to stack with. Some people use straws, some people use wooden dowels, some people use stacking systems, like metal plates and stacking systems. I like to use cardboard dowels. These are made by Atico. You can cut them easily with a serrated knife.
Made for just the cakes? Like...
They are made for cakes. They're a food safe product.
Yep.
So they're firm. They don't absorb the oils of the buttercream, so they don't get soft. Nice. But they're also easy to cut. So you can cut them with a serrated knife, or you can cut them with a PVC cutter. It'll go right through. Great. So I like to take it and make sure, but I can see that it's going to be a little bit taller, slightly taller than my cake. So I want to cut it down just a little bit. And the great thing is we can actually take this off of here now.
All right. Prince Ali!
Ali, Ali!
Ali, blah, blah.
Strong as 10 regular men, handsome is he! Okay, so now we're gonna take, because I really don't need, you know, you don't want to cut them too short. You want to cut them level with the cake.
If the cake is 4 inches, you want to make sure the dough is 4 inches as well.
Yeah, you want it to be, because if it's too short, the top cake is going to sink in and it's going to make the bottom cake bulge out.
Right.
And you don't want that.
Yeah. So we are stacking the cake.
We're stacking. So we want to try to get it as centered as possible.
All right.
Ooh.
Come here. Ooh. Oh. Nice.
And that is why I make the big bucks. All right. So now we're going to scooch it back just a little bit.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go right underneath the cardboard. Scooch it back just a little bit. There.
Great. Ooh, nice. There. Yeah, you take it.
Good.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
Not too bad. So it's so humid today that our our fondant is really having an interesting effect.
I love, you know, it's giving us a glaze look, you know?
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, it's like we just did a natural glaze.
Ready?
But it's really hot right now, and it's unbelievable. I've never had this weather in the States, so I have to say that.
It wanted to skip seasons, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, cool.
So there we go.
Yep.
So anything that looks imperfect today, it's because we are working with real cake, real product, and real weather.
And we're gonna cut it.
And we're gonna cut it and we're gonna eat it. It's gonna be delicious.
Oh yes.
All right. So now we're gonna pipe on the dish, right? I need to pipe in front of me. So I have 4 different shades. I have 2 shades of brown and 2 shades of green.
Okay.
I did this because it's going to be much more interesting as we're working with this to have different shades. Now, here's what's going to be even more interesting. So as we're piping, we'll start with the trunk. So we're going to take our dark brown and we're going to pipe this edge here. Now this is a royal icing. So this is a different kind of icing than our buttercream. It is edible. And this is made with a little bit of meringue powder, icing sugar, and water.
Okay.
And you can do it in different thicknesses, and some people use it for sugar cookies and things like that. And I use it for this type of piping when I want it to be a little bit firmer.
Yep. Yeah, like back home we make the royal icing with, like, you know, meringue, because we don't get the meringue powder like quite easily. So we just make the meringue, and then we just, like, you know.
You can do it like that, or you can do it with egg whites.
Yeah,
yes,
egg whites.
the egg whites, right?
Yeah.
With a little bit of cream of tartar for stabilization. Yep, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So anything here that's swirly like this, I'm gonna make brown.
Brown, okay.
And then but I filled in the trunk, but with these other ones, I don't necessarily want to fill it in.
Okay, okay.
Because it's gonna look a little more wispy.
It kind of dries up really fast on the tip, right?
It does. So that's why you always have to check, because if it dries on the tip, then you don't. It's not going to come out of the tip, and then you're like, and then if you squeeze too hard, it go, and you don't want that either.
Yeah, yeah.
So always take care to just make sure that you don't have anything stuck to it with the royal, especially because the royal will dry on that tip pretty quick. Almost done. Whoops, it's so humid today, Chef Ali.
Yep.
The humidity is not liking me today. So we're gonna put them in a former. So we have these formers.
Alright.
So that they'll start to firm up. Now, I'm not gonna put them in there to firm up all the way. I'm gonna attach them before they do that.
Alright.
But we're gonna firm them up for a little while. I also use the ball tool to get this out.
Okay.
So hold on, let me cut a couple of these.
Cool. So the idea of using the bowl, is it a bowl pin?
It's a ball. It's a ball tool. You're gonna take your yellow taco pan.
All right.
And you can see that this mold has lots of different buttons. This is actually a button. It's like to make little buttons or things like that. But I like to use them to make flower centers.
All right.
I like to take tools and use them for something different.
Okay.
So that you can do a lot more with it than just, oh, this is for making buttons. But now we can make flower centers. So you can pick some that are going to be about the right size. So some of the medium and smaller ones. These large ones are going to be too big for what we're doing.
Okay.
And then we are going to put some aside so that we can...
Okay, so how many do we need?
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you make about 9 of them?
Okay, sure.
I'm going to make the blue center flower.
Yeah, the blue center flower. And, yep, so let's just take a look at that technique.
Yep.
It's basically to get it nice and thin.
Yep. I go right around the edge of the petal. And it usually doesn't stick.
Cool.
I'm going to do it to the small one too.
Alright, and that's basically going to be like, you know, all that we just made. And
well, because see here, now this one's starting, it's already kind of starting to, this is like the first one I made, but
dries up really fast,
it'll
right?
dry up fairly quick. Yeah, with the gum paste in there.
Great, and I'm going to make some buttons here. So I'm going to use a mold to make a button, and this is going to be the center of the flowers. You know.
So what I did was I made a little bit of edible glue.
Okay.
So I took the gum paste and put just a little bit of water, and it melted the gum paste in there, and this creates a really strong bond. Okay, so this one already is bonded together.
Okay.
So we have these flowers that are now going to be nicely bonded together. So we need to put them all together so that we can then put them onto the cake.
All right.
So
it's basically fits the yellow flower.
So this one we're not going to do anything with because we're going to put these on sticks, and this is going to become the back.
Oh, nice!
So they cover the sticks.
Good.
See?
I get it.
So the ones on sticks have backs, and the ones not on sticks, because we're going to stick some on the side of the cake, those are not going to have backs.
Okay.
So we're going to save one of these for the back of that one.
All right.
And we're going to do one more big one. So this one's not as pretty. We're seeing, and this is the great thing. You make a lot. So as a cake artist, you have to make a lot of things, right? Because some might break, some might not turn out as pretty as other ones. So now I have a selection, and you know, I make a lot more than what I use on a cake. And so then the other trick is when you own a business like I do, anything extra I put in a little drawer. And then when someone needs a last minute cake order, I'm like, what do I have? What do I have? And I can take my extra flowers, I can take my extra things that I've made, and I can create orders for people very quickly. So when you do this kind of prep work ahead of time, you know, you always make more than you need. You never want to make just what you need, because then you'll find you're going to break some. If you make more than you need, then if you break one, it's not a big deal. You're not going to cry about it.
Yeah, because you have more. So it's always good to make more. So if you have an order for probably like, 10 flowers, make 20.
That's right. Always make double. Because someone else is going to see that picture of that cake and say, I want that cake too.
I want that. And probably they didn't give you enough time. And sometimes people are like that. They don't give you time.
It's true.
They just call you and they say they want a cake tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And sometimes you need the money, so you want to do the cake.
So you want to do the cake. So if you do some of this prep work ahead of time, I have little like plastic drawers full of different little flowers and little toppers and things that we make, because we always make more than what the people order, so that we can, because someone else will see that picture, on our website and call us and say, oh, I want that cake and I want it next weekend, and you're like, I have like 10 other cakes, but okay, fine, I'll take it, because you already have some things already prepared. So you see all of your little centers
they
are looking great. And they're all like different. So they all have like little different textures,
and also
different sizes. So you've got like different looks to your flowers. And because I didn't let these dry 100%, they're not cracking, which is a good thing. So
you can kind of press them.
So I can press them a little bit without them breaking, because we don't want them to break. If you let them dry all the way, and then you try to press on them, then you're going to break them, and then you have to start over. So that's for this kind of flower. Some flowers you do want to let them dry. So it just depends on what you're doing. Put this one on the back too.
Okay. All right.
Just put that on the back so you know where I want to put it, like right in there.
So you want to hide all the,
You want to hide the sticks. You can also do like some fun. You can take some buttercream and make leaves if you wanted to.
Okay.
So you could just pipe, a few leaves like this.
Nice.
Kind of around.
I like that. Yeah, it's like a little garden, and beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such a beautiful cake. Such a beautiful cake.
And it helps hide our sticks too.
Great.
I'm gonna make one more little center, and now we are done.
Awesome. So time to cut a cake.
So it's colorful, it has texture, it has fondant, it has royal icing, And because of our weather, it has some unexpected texturing, which I love.
Which is beautiful.
Which, you know, if anybody tries to ask me to make it for them again, I'm not sure I could, but, you know, we've tried. And we've got some buttercream leaves, and so we have this little beautiful garden of Eden.
I love it. I think that's beautiful.
Created.
I can't wait to, like, you know, just dig in and eat the cake.
All right, let's
Pair with
do
some
it. But
gorgeous
do you need to make
tea?
some tea first?
Yes, we're gonna pair it with some Kirichigol tea, and you know, we're gonna dine, and I'm gonna serve you.
Oh, I love that.
You're gonna be my guest. All right, finally, it's time to eat some cake.
Thank goodness, after all that work, we get to eat.
We gotta eat the cake. So
Okay.
we have some green tea and peach.
Oh, I'm so excited to try. Peach is one of my
pair with
favorite fruits.
Great! So we have this to pair the cake with. Of course, cake goes really well with some gorgeous tea. So
Yes.
yep, I'm gonna do that. And
All right. I've never had this tea before, so I'm really
great.
excited to try it.
Yes, this is basically one of my favorite tea all the way from Kenya, and you know, one of the best teas down there. So here we are.
What's your favorite flavor?
You know, the fruit and herbs are basically my favorite. So anything fruity, that's me.
Like me.
Oh no, you
We're
know,
like spirit
that's
friends.
the thing. Yes.
Yes.
In a second, I'm gonna serve you. So here you are.
Oh.
Great. So you can have that, and you just brew it.
Yep. It's gonna take a minute, right?
Like, yeah, just a minute or so.
Oh my
just
gosh, I
brew it
can
up.
smell the peach. It smells delicious.
It's all natural and also.
And I can see it already starting to turn
Yep. The
very
color, right?
quickly.
Pretty cool. So you just
Oh,
want
it
to brew
smells
it.
amazing.
Yep.
So with my spoon?
Yep. Well, no, just the way it is. You just brew the tea.
All right.
Just just want to go a bit, up and down. So that's basically like you're kind of brewing it, and that will be great. As you do that, I'm just gonna cut some cake. I'm all about the cake, so.
I don't know. I might be all about the tea. It smells delicious.
Great. Nice. That's
Oh,
nice.
yummy.
Oh my god, look at that. Oh my god, look at that.
The perfect bite right there.
I love it. Look at the filling inside. That's fantastic. So I'm gonna serve you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna serve you that.
You're giving me the first piece?
And I'm gonna serve myself as well. Oh yes, you deserve it.
Oh, well, I only worked a little bit today for you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, now I'm gonna show you these beautiful layers from the cake. You see that? Look at that. Look at that. And the filling is basically tres de leche.
It's gonna be some amaretto and dulce de leche.
Oh, dulce de leche.
Dulce de leche, which
This means-
translated is sweet milk.
Sweet milk?
And it's a milk caramel.
Great, so milk caramel. So, tres leche is 3 milk.
3 milks.
Oh, so this
dulce de leche is
alright.
sweet. Yes.
Good to know.
Sweet milk.
Good to know.
And you
Alright.
take a condensed milk and you boil it until it becomes dulce de leche.
Great.
That's
so
how you make it.
Let's dig into this cake.
All right, I'm sitting because you're gonna
Yep.
love it so much that you might faint or
I'm gonna see
something.
it as well. So
Okay.
let's
Cake
dig
first?
in. All right.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Mmm.
Wow.
This is one of our most popular flavors for weddings.
Oh my God.
Can you taste the dulce de leche?
I can taste the dulce de leche like, wow, and I can taste a bit of some almond. Do you have a bit
It's
of
the
almond?
amaretto.
Oh, amaretto.
It's the amaretto.
All right. Wow. No. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna feed on the cake, I'm
You're gonna stuff your face?
It's beautiful. That's how I explain it when I eat cake,
This is how I like my cake.
Just pair with some good tea.
All right.
Oh, you want to pair it up? Let's
good?
Yep.
We'll be cheersing.
We're gonna do a cheers.
All right, let's cheers.
To Cake World TV.
Cake World.
All right. Wow. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
You
It
don't
doesn't
need
need
sugar.
any sugar.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm surprised. I usually put honey in my tea.
It blends.
That's
really well.
amazing. It blends so well with the
Blends
cake.
in
It was
really
a
well.
great choice.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
So,
So too bad you all can't eat this cake with us because it's delicious. And the tea, so good. Thank you for introducing me to the Kenyan tea.
you're welcome. And you know what?
really good.
I have a hamper for you. So, I have lots of tea that you can take home with. It's basically
Oh my
the black tea.
gosh.
I have this gift box, you're
Thank
gonna take home
you.
with. And of course,
Oh, put some apple in there. I love it.
And some mint probably in there.
Thank you so much.
And you can enjoy the Kenyan tea.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me on Cake World.
You're
this
welcome.
This has been
Always
a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, and I love the cake. It's beautiful. You know.
Thank you so much.
I want to eat this. I want to take this home. Can I take this home?
Yes, it's all for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef Ali.
God bless you.
You too.
Let's enjoy the tea.
All right, let's do
Okay.
it. This tea is amazing. Wow, that really is
Well,
really
guys,
good.
I think it's fantastic. So until next time, I'm just going to enjoy myself with this gorgeous cake and tea. Until next time, you'll find me here at Cake World TV. Alright guys, that was it for Cake World TV. Please subscribe to my channel down below. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes.
Great. What is it?
Occasionally Cake.
Occasionally Cake. You go onto YouTube and you search for Occasionally Cake and you subscribe as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll give you a lovely gift hamper by Courage to Go. Keep it here.
Cheers.